Welcome to the Binge List. I'm your host, Paul Chappell. And today we take a deep dive into True Detective from HBO. They released 2 episodes Sunday. And I gotta say it, True Detective is back. Now I say that obviously because the second season was not received very well. And in fact, I didn't even watch the second season. But from what I've been able to discern, one of the things that the second season was lacking was the setting in the South, because the creator of True Detective, his name is Nick Pizzolatto, Italian gentleman, obviously. He went to the University of Arkansas in Fayetteville. And in fact, the first season was supposed to be set in the Ozarks. And for some reason, I forgot why. I read an interview with him, but he changed it last minute to Louisiana. So he's actually doing what he intended to do that first season. But all the little elements are there. We got the time jumps the same time jumps we had in the first season. We have some potentially dirty cops. And I say dirty cops because when we first see the main character played by Mahershala Ali, he's being interviewed by some cops, and they're deposing him. So it's like right off the bat, you're like, now what did this guy do? And he's telling the cops what happened, and he tells them, well, it started on this night. Me and my partner were out investigating a string of robberies. And they cut to the past in 1980, and him and his partner, played by Stephen Dorff, they're sitting, well, it looks like a junkyard, and they're like just shooting stuff from chairs, kicking back, knocking back brewskis, and you can tell from right there, these guys are not your ordinary cops. And they're kind of pissed when they leave. They're driving back to the station, and they get a call about missing person. And they're kind of pissed because their night is almost over, and they're like, oh, we actually have to do some work. So they had me right there, because who wants to watch a cop drama with some cops that are squeaky clean, right? I mean, they're almost always interested if they have a little dirt on them. Well, we saw that in the first season with Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson's character. Everything about it was cinematic. The directing overall was just fantastic, as we've come to expect from HBO. The cinematography is just gorgeous. You just have to see some of the scenes in this show. I mean, the tracking shots, some of the bird's eye. I guess they shot it from a helicopter, but you see a lot of overhead shots, a lot of tracking shots, dollies, what have you. But it's just a beautifully shot show. And it felt kind of like, as far as setting, it felt like Stranger Things. It's like Nick Pizzolatto. It feels like that he watched Stranger Things during a hiatus, because I don't think this show has even been on the air for like 3 years. They took a big break after the second season. But it feels like Stranger Things when it opens. You're in this small town, and like Stranger Things, these kids who are riding their bikes go missing. Now I say kids because in Stranger Things, it was one kid. In this show, it's a boy and a girl. They're reported missing by their father, who's having some problems with his wife, who likes to go out, and we're led to believe she's screwing other guys. But immediately, Mahershala thinks that, the mother might have taken the kids, and then they find out that that's not the case. So that's, sets off some alarms. And it really gets to a point where we have a full-blown panic in the town, because this is one of those towns we led to believe that nothing ever like this happens. So you got that element to the story. small town with a big crime happens. You got some inklings that there might have been something satanic going on in this town. So, like I said, more shades of the first season. Mahershala Ali's character, I'll just say Wayne. His name is Wayne Hayes. They called him Purple Haze in Vietnam. That's another thing I liked about the show. The main character is actually very interesting. He was a long-range reconnaissance guy in Vietnam. Means he was thrown in enemy territory, and he would recon, and he would track. He's a good tracker. So there's a lot of he's basically a hunter. So because they talk about him boar hunting in the opening and deer hunting with a bow and arrow. So he has some bona fide hunter pedigree, and I found that very interesting. You get the feeling that he became kind of disillusioned by the Vietnam War, which is a little bit cliche, but the way Mahershala Ali approaches it makes it seem like he has a fresh take on that type of character. And like I said, Stephen Dorff is playing his partner, Roland West. And they have an interesting dynamic going on. But like I said, because in this show, both of these cops have a little dirt on them. And in fact, you even see them beating a suspect at one point. But they're both, like I said, they're drinking on the job. We know from the first season that Matthew McConaughey's character was a drug user. And Woody Harrelson was more straight-laced, but he was doing some things that had nothing to do really with his job. But he was cheating on his wife and all that. But so they've kind of returned to what made the first season so great. And, they've learned some lessons, I felt like, in these first two episodes. So what did I like? Like I said, I love the cinematography. I love the acting, the lighting. You could do a master class on how to film a show just from watching these two episodes. They got top-notch director. I'm drawing a blank on the guy's name. But what didn't I like about it? Well, one of the few complaints I have about this show is you get the idea just from the first couple episodes that right off the bat that this case was unsolved. So the time jumping kills some of the suspense, and that you pretty much know nothing's going to happen to Wayne Hayes because he's being interviewed about this case 35 years after the fact. Because there's three timelines. There's the 1980 timeline, 1990, and then he's an old man, 2015. Now, they did that in the first season too, so I can't fault them for that. But the time jumps kind of slow the show down because the first two episodes really work at a snail's pace. I mean, I'm used to watching shows like Law and Order where they pretty much collect all the clues and have a suspect within the first 30 minutes. And the fact that they really don't have a suspect even after the spoilers, after the first two episodes, just was kind of frustrating for me. So if I have to knock it for anything, it's that. But everything else about it, I'm really trying hard to think of something else that I didn't like. And that's pretty much it. The time jumps just really slowed the show down. So, but from everything else, I'm really encouraged by what I'm seeing. I can't wait to see what HBO have up their sleeve for this show. And from the way I see it, they didn't release the whole season. So I could possibly be reviewing every episode that I've read that there's like 8 episodes. So this show will be leading us right into Game of Thrones. And I think that HBO did that on purpose. So they raised their game a little bit. They're using the power of episodic television to kind of battle Netflix, it looks like. Because as you know, Netflix just releases everything at once. And we've gotten used to that. But there's something to be said for the fact that you have to wait for the next episode. You can do more deep dives and more speculation and more fan theories with a show that's episodic like this. So I'm looking forward to that aspect of it. And I will recommend that you put this on your binge list. So if you decide that you don't want to watch it till the season's over with, that'll be a legitimate way to watch this. But I don't think I'm going to be disappointed from what I've seen so far. So I think I can get it a solid recommendation. So that's pretty much all I got for the first 2 episodes of True Detective. And I would like to thank my new subscribers and encourage you to give me a like and, recommend this show if you like it. I mean, my whole channel. I do movies. Some occasionally I'll do a game, but I mostly do television now. But that's all I got for today. And I will see you when I see you. Thanks for watching.